we know that the toolbox that comes from mom is not as in-depth or fulfilling as the toolbox that comes from dad. The toolbox that comes from dad is going to have the right tools in it. Now, you might not have all the right tools, but you're going to have, I say 80% of the tools that you need, that you get from dad, can get you through life. The other 20% of tools that you get from mom will also help you through life, but they won't get you through life. They'll get you to a certain point to where, they'll make it to where you can function in life, but it's not enough to get you to where you want to be at in life. And like I said, not a shot at moms. I know people going to take this and run with it and say, what they want to say about it, say all types of different stuff. This is just my opinion. And this is how I really think about the difference between mom's toolbox and dad's toolbox. When you get a toolbox from mom, it's going to have the things that make you feel good, and it's going to, put you to where, mom's toolbox is a lot softer than dad's toolbox. That's what it boils down to. Dad's going to have a toolbox that's going to get you through the things that you need, depending on what kind of man he is. For the most part, a man's toolbox is going to get you to where you need to be at. So I'm not saying this to say, hey, I favor a man's toolbox, or you should favor a man's toolbox over a woman, or vice versa. I'm saying you need both toolboxes. But the problem is when a woman kicks a man's toolbox out, that kid is left to use the woman's toolbox. And you only going to get so far from there. Now, on the flip side, if you kick the woman's toolbox out and only had the man, the kid can probably survive in this world, but they probably be cold-hearted. Or they probably wouldn't have the things that they needed when it comes to emotional side of things, like, being gentle with a woman. You don't really know what that's like because you had dad's toolbox, and that's it. All you know is how to fix things. All you know is how to, you got a fixing things mindset. But when mom's toolbox is involved, you got that loving side of everything and caring, and, you care to fix things. When you bring them both together, you got that loving, caring, that ability to fix things or to get things back rolling again. I'm not a psychologist. I'm not a doctor. I'm not a psychiatrist, none of that type of stuff. I'm nowhere near anything in that field to be certified to tell you these type of things that I'm saying, but I've experienced it in my own life enough to know what I'm talking about. I know that, I know that nobody's perfect and things happen and people have situations that, they can't avoid, but at the same time, look at the big picture. Look at what's going on 20 years from now because of the decisions that you made, today. Or the decisions that you made 20 years ago and where you at today. I mean, would you do any of this stuff different? Would you go back and change the way that you're doing things? If you had 20 years to live over again, go back 20 years ago and make some different decisions. Would you make them different, or would you make them the same as you made 20 years ago and be happy with where you at today? The reason that I'm talking about this today is because I recognize the fact that a lot of people don't look at the long-term effects and back up and look at whatever their world is from a 30,000-foot view. Everybody is always close up and trying to tell you, how things should be, and they're not looking at the end. But it's just like any kind of goal that you set. If you set a goal and you put it on paper, I think you have a better chance at knocking that goal out or reaching that goal, or at least measuring that goal. If you can't measure it at all, then you don't know where you're going to end up at. So that's basically all I'm doing when I'm talking about this right here. I'm measuring what's there, what I've seen, and, what we all see. I'm simply pointing out what we all are witnessing, seeing in real life. You may not agree with one side of it or the other side of it, or you may think that, something is, another side of it should be told, but that's for another video. Right now, what I'm talking about is why you end up with the results